Hey, welcome back. We back with another video. Now today, we finna be reacting to Frank Turek. I like doing Frank Turek, man. Frank Turek got some knowledge on him, man. We finna react to Frank Turek. He been talking to, I guess, Cody Strikes Again. So this is Cody Strikes Again. So we missed the first Cody, but this is Cody Strikes Again. Turek about to tell us, I don't know, Turek about to go in deep on God. So subscribe, y'all know what to do. Let's hop right into the reaction, no time to waste.
Dr. Turek, I'm only asking if you would murder your wife or children to prove your devotion. It's a simple question.
I don't know what would happen. And by the way, when God decides that someone should die, it's not murder for him.
Dr. Turek, God commanded you to murder your wife or children to prove your faith in God. Is your current devotion not enough to prove your faith? Must you murder your children as Abraham was instructed?
First of all, you never question God. Second of all, if God told you to do it, that proves God is real, so you ain't got no choice but to do it. So even if you're an atheist, like, answer your own question, man. Like, think about it. If God told you to do it, and you heard God tell you to do it, then it means like you ain't got no choice but to do it. The second thing, you ain't supposed to question God. You ain't supposed to, according to, so I'm saying this from the perspective of a believer, so I kind of think that question is really stupid. Now, if you didn't believe in God, no, of course, if somebody told you that God told you to do that, then that'd be, yeah, then you know where I'm going with that. But let's keep going.
Well, I don't know what I would do.
This is a simple yes or no question, Doctor.
I don't know what I would do in Abraham's position. That's a good question. You know who really struggled with that? Soren Kierkegaard wrote a book called...
Is your faith strong enough to murder your own children or
I'm
wife?
thinking, and since I'm from New Jersey, it's really hard for me to do, so give me a minute. The book is called Fear and Trembling by Soren Kierkegaard. So I don't know what I would do, just like I'm never going to say if somebody put a gun to my head or a gun to my wife's head, what would you do? Because Peter tried that. I'll never deny you, Lord, and what did he do?
Denied him 3
times. Yeah, that's
so
crucifixion.
I don't know what I would do, okay? But let me point out, if your friend is an atheist, there's nothing wrong with God doing anything, because by atheism, there's no standard of right and wrong anyway. In order for you to bring up the objection, you're actually stealing a standard from God in order to try and say God doesn't exist.
Dr. Turek, I'm only asking if you would murder your wife or children to prove your devotion. It's a simple question.
I don't know what would happen. And by the way, when God decides that someone should die, it's not murder for him. Because God kills all of us at some point. And he's the only one that can resurrect us. So we don't have the right to murder people, but God has the right to kill people anytime he wants. He can strike me down today, tomorrow, anytime he wants, and it's completely in his prerogative.
God has the right to slaughter the Amalekites down to the last man, woman, and child.
God has the right to take us out anytime we want, because if Christianity's true, men don't really die, we just change location. And God can do that anytime he wants. So thank you for
I ain't gonna hold you. He's throwing. Frank is killing it right now. I ain't gonna hold you. Like there was only one atheist so far that like I felt like beat him, but now it's like okay. They're asking some really crazy questions though. Like the real question would be, do you believe that Jesus actually existed and died on the cross? And if he says yes, can you prove that? That'd be a question. Because that's the question that scholars do believe that Scholars believe that Jesus existed. They say there's no denying that. But again, remember, I want to say this. Most of the scholarship behind Christianity, you can read this in Israel Finkelstein's book, The Bible on Earth, is biased anyway. So it's people, believers, are the ones who came in and actually found the answers to the religion. Just saying, right? And yeah, but Frank be killing it. I don't know where I was going with that, but Frank killing it.
your question.
It is stunning to me that massacre and genocide gets applauded in this building. God demands slaughter, massacre, and genocide.
All right, Cody, there's nothing wrong with genocide if atheism's true.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
If atheism's true, there is nothing wrong with genocide.
I am an atheist and I oppose genocide in every possible, in every way.
But that's just your personal opinion, because there's no standard beyond you which says it's wrong.
The standard that says is correct, that I will help my fellow human, up to and including you, especially you, Doctor.
That's no answer, man. You can't justify morality. He has you there. He has them there with that. They can't justify morality, which sucks, but you can't. You can't justify morality.
I would never harm anyone in this room.
Okay, I'm glad.
Atheism.
Cody.
Are you suggesting that atheism allows or purports or wants genocide? I know you wouldn't say. You would never say that.
Yes, atheism does allow it. You can ask Mao. You can ask Stalin. You can ask Pol Pot. Because if there is no authority beyond the government, they are God.
I cannot possibly agree. I cannot possibly disagree that those people were atheists. But as Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens would both argue, as you well know, none of those people slaughtered millions in the name of atheism. There are countless millions.
All right, Cody, this isn't a debate, okay?
I know.
I thank you for being here. But let me deal, because Cody, I love talking about this stuff, but there's a line of people behind you, and so we can't keep going back and forth. But I do want to answer your question about the Canaanites.
Is God immoral for massacre, slaughter, and racism and slavery?
Cody, look, we don't have time to deal with all those. Trust me, I have slides for every one of them, okay? Let me just deal with the Canaanite one, if you'd be so gracious as to sit down.
I would be so gracious. Thank you, Doctor.
And I'll deal with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right, thank you. So, as I just mentioned, with the Canaanite issue, if there's no God, why would any Old Testament atrocity be wrong? But Cody is correct about this. He has a fair point to ask me, despite the fact that he, being an atheist, has no objective standard by which to judge anything right or wrong. He is correct to ask me. You're saying your God is a God of love, so why does he do such things? So that's a fair question, okay? All right. Secondly, though, is God arbitrary, or does he give reasons in the Old Testament for judging people? Because that's what it is in the Old Testament. It's judging. God is not a cosmic mafia boss. He doesn't wake up one day and say, Canaanites, I want them dead. No. There's a reason that he has decided to push the Canaanites out of the land, and it's because they've had 400 years of iniquity, including murdering their children, sacrificing their children on the molten hot metal god Molech. And it wasn't just the Old Testament that talks about this.
Well, hold on. In the Old Testament, the Midianites were slaughtered by Moses. The Midianites were slaughtered by Moses, and they were told to be a peaceful people. That's what it says in the Old Testament. So there was no reason for that. Not every part of the Bible is justified with that. Not every time God does something, it's fully justified. But let's keep on.
Greek writer Plutarch says that when the Canaanites would do this, the drummers in the town would pound their drums louder so the children or the parents couldn't hear the screams of their own children being sacrificed. Also, I hear this quite a bit. Why complain that God doesn't stop evil, but then complain when he does? In other words, sometimes atheists will say, why didn't God stop such and such a tragedy? Yet here, God sees that this culture is so degraded that he finally says these people must be stopped, and he sends the Israelites in to stop them, and now atheists are complaining about it. And the question I always ask people, is God committing murder by ending lives on earth? And the answer is no. God doesn't murder anyone. He can't murder anyone. He is the creator of life. He can resurrect it. Only people who are other creations can commit murder. When God ends somebody's life, it's not murder. And as I mentioned...
Wait a minute, so he can resurrect the life, but he can't murder it. I think deep about that one.
A minute ago, God has the right to usher people into the next life whenever he wants. Whether we're 82 or 2 years old, that's up to him. People never die, they just change location. And we also need to remember that the Old Testament theocracy was unique and temporary. It was not the ideal for all time, but the means to a promised new covenant. And the best book on this topic is by Paul Copan, Is God a Moral Monster? And Cody's actually bringing up good questions that Christians need to deal with. And Copan goes through all of those issues. One is the Canaanites, another slavery, these kinds of issues. And you can get that book if you want to go further. But this is not genocide. It's actually judgment. Why? How do I know? Because God did the same thing to Israel. God took out the Israelites through the Babylonians. and the Assyrians.
He did.
And he also took out the Israelites after they worshipped the golden calf. It was
true.
judgment, not genocide.
That's true. All those things did happen. That's 100% true. That's 1,000% true. But definitely, I know he slaughtered the Midianites. The Midianites were known to be a peaceful people. Definitely. The fact that like God unalived the baby that Bathsheba had was unjustified too. The baby didn't do anything, just punished David. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of moments like where some things you could say were uncompletely justified in the Bible. But hey, who am I? See y'all later. Woo. Actually, anybody who wants to debate in the bottom comments, forget the comments. Put in the comment, go live, and let's have our debate. Tomorrow I'll go live and I'll debate anybody on any of these topics, from religion to politics. I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah. All right, peace.